Okay, I wanted to look at a hand from September 30th session. Jack 10 suited. It was an interesting hand. I tagged it and wanted to go back and review it. So the situation is I had Jack 10 suited on the button and the action continued. So let's look at the action first. Okay, so middle position 1 or hijack. Raises, I call. He open raises, I call. The big blind calls. And now we hit the flop. Okay, so here is where it gets interesting. All right, so what do I got here? I got a flush draw. I got a redraw to the straight flush if I hit the 9 of spades. I also have, a straight draw as well. I mean, with the gut shot straight. I don't have top pair. I don't have anything. So when I looked at this hand, or when I thought about it in my head while I was playing, I was like, okay, I got 9 outs plus I got 4 nines, right? So that makes 13 outs, right? And I use the rule, the 4-2 rule. So 4 times 13, that gives you 52% equity. So in my head, I'm thinking I got 52% equity on this board. So the action continued. Just keep that in mind, the 52% equity. So the action continued. So the hijack, the original raiser in the hand, bets out and bets roughly 1/3 pot, a quarter pot, something to that extent. I go ahead and make the call, and the action continued to the big blind, who at that point shoved all in for 18 big blinds. So now the middle position reshoved for 27 big blinds. So now we're sitting with a pot of 55 big blinds. At this point, what do you do? Here's the analysis. So this is what happened. And this to me is a learning experience and also a teachable moment so that I can teach people, on anybody who is interested in poker. This is a good hand to look at. So I went back and looked up the whole range, hand ranges in Floptimal, and they use Munker solver. So Floptimal uses Munker solver to come up with the ranges. So these were the ranges that I pulled for the big blind shoving range: 9s, 10s, King 10 suited, King Jack suited, Ace King off, and Ace Queen off. And for the middle position 1 or hijack re-shoving range, he's shoving 9s, 10s, Jacks, Queens, Kings, Aces, Ace King suited, all of this, Ace Queen suited, King Queen suited, Ace King off, and Ace Queen off. And then I put in my hand. Once I got these ranges, I put them into Flopzilla, and inside of Flopzilla, I was able to determine that I had 46% equity. You can't quite see it here, but you will in the next frame. 45% or 46% equity. Now, in my mind, I had calculated just by using the 4-2 rule that I had 52% equity. I think because you're up against 2 ranges, it changes. So if you were heads up, 52% would be approximately right, I think. That could be something I check into. But regardless, I had 46% equity. So what do you do when you have 46% equity? You first have to know your pot odds, right? Do you have enough equity versus the pot odds to make the call? Do you have enough, is your EV plus? You have plus EV, your break-even percentages. So I went ahead and calculated those, and let's take a look. All right, so first it's pot odds. So I put this in is 50. I used big blinds in this case, so just think of these in big blinds, not in dollar amounts. So $55 was what was in the pot before I made the call. So you can see I have 46% equity. How much to call? 20. I had to put in another 27 big blinds to make the call. My pot odds are 2-1, and my required equity to call, I need more than 33% equity. Well, I have 46% equity. So in order to calculate your pot odds are pot size divided by the call amount. So whatever the pot is and whatever I have to call, the pot size divided by the call amount. So in this case, it was 55 divided by 27 equals 2.04, which is 2-to-1 pot odds. And you convert that to percentage by doing 1 over 2 plus 1 equals 1/3, which equals 33%. Boom. My pot odds are correct. My equity is above what I'm needed. I needed a minimum of 33% to make the call. I have 46% equity on this board. Verified, checked through Flopzilla versus the ranges that I was expecting to see versus the big blind and the middle position +1. So let's continue. Now let's check the next set, which is your break even. Okay. So break even, in order to calculate your break even, basically risk to reward, it's used in stocks and buying stocks and a lot of financial stuff. Break even equals risk divided by risk plus reward. So in this case, the break even, so you take your risk, which is I'm risking 27 big blinds, and it's 27 plus my reward. So it's 27 divided by 82, 33%, 0.33. 33%. Do I have more equity than 33%? Yes. Confirmed. Next is your EV. Let's take a look at that. Okay. Basic EV. Here's what you do. So I'm treating this as big blinds. $55, 55 big blinds. I have 40. How often am I expected to win? That's your equity. 46% of the time I'm going to win. What do I lose? I lose 27 big blinds. I'm going to lose 54% of the time. So in this case, it's 10.6 plus EV. So how do you calculate your EV? EV is your win percentage times the money that you would win. Okay, the percentage that you're going to win times the money that you would win minus the percentage that you lose times the amount of money that you lose, or big blinds in this case. EV, so in this case, I'm going to win 46% of the time, so it's 0.46 times 55, which is what I win, minus the amount that how often I lose, which is 0.4 times what I lose, 27 big blinds in this case. So the EV, 25.3184 minus 14.6934 gives me plus EV of 10.625. So the reason I like this hand is because it just compiles everything, and you go back and you redo this and you look at this, and the next time I'm in this spot, I won't even need to think about it because I already went through the hour-long process or 2-hour-long process of figuring out all of the mathematics behind it. So when I see a spot like this again, three-way, I'm going to be able to just go, I know this is a call. Boom. And that's what's important. That's why it's important to look at your hands, analyze your hands, and I hope this helps out. But let's see what happened with the hand. Okay, so I called, and I didn't win. But the idea behind expected value is if you're in this position, if you make this call over and over and over and over again every single time, you are going to win in the long run. So it's going to make you money. So make those calls. Look at the analysis on this. Don't fold in this position. So many people would fold here, and it was wrong to fold. And I'm glad I made the call. I did a quick calculation in my head, but this just cemented it and made it that much more understandable to me that I am making the right call. There you go.